Hey guys, what's up? This is going to be my video on the complete unboxing and review of the recently released new iPad. So let's get straight into this unboxing. So I'll just go ahead and rip the plastic off. Just lift open this cover. And there is the new iPad. So it's pretty good in the hand. It has some weight to it, but it's the type of good weight. Now this is the 4G model of the new iPad. It's the 64GB model to be exact. And it comes with LTE as well. And it has a 9.7-inch Retina Display screen. And let's just quickly unwrap it from the plastic. Here it is, it's in pristine condition, and let's just take a quick hardware tour. I just realized that the micro SIM port is right at the side instead of the older iPad micro SIM being right here. It has a good weight to it. I like the weight of it, and yeah, so we'll just put it off to the side for now. Get it designed by Apple in California along with the micro SIM eject tool, which always comes in handy. And you just get the Apple USB standard cable and the power AC adapter. So that's all that's in the box. Once you pick up the iPad 3, you'll realize that the screen is the most essential part of the device. Now, the screen is a Retina display, which has been seen on the iPhone 4S and iPod Touch 4G. Now, what it means to be on the iPad 3 is that it's simply amazing. Compared to the iPad 2 screen, the iPad 3 just blows the screen out of water. The iPad 2 had a 1024 by 768 pixel display on a 4x3 9.7-inch screen. But now the new iPad has a 2048 by 1536 display, giving it 4 times as many pixels. Now that is basically the difference in the screen. Now once you pick up a tablet or a phone or anything, the display is the most important part of it, and this is where the new iPad exceeds in it. Now the back camera on the new iPad was upgraded to an iSight camera that has the ability of taking 5 megapixel photos. Now this is on par with the iPhone 4S, and in some ways it exceeds the ability that it has. Now when you look at it, the camera button is right there, and it makes it easily accessible for taking pictures. And it's very useful to have the camera button right there instead of right here and awkwardly reaching over to get it. So now once you rotate it, see that the camera button is right at the side, so it makes it easy to take photos when you're using it. But with the recent camera upgrade on the new iPad, I realized it makes it more useful for using it with iMovie and apps that support the camera, so you can make your own films on the iPad or even edit simple videos that you have. The next best greatest thing on the new iPad is the voice dictation feature. Now you will see it at the bottom of the keyboard, and it adds one of the great features that Siri has on the iPhone 4S. So if you go into the Notes application, you can easily use the voice dictation feature. So for example, if I say, "This is a test with the new iPad's voice dictation feature, period." So as you can see, it translates the voice speech that I said into text. And it is pretty accurate, but it has a few mistakes. But overall, this is very stable for using this with emails and such. Now, the new iPad ships with a A5X processor, which is a new version of Apple's latest processor. Now, this processor launches everything very quickly. So if I open up the Calendar app, you'll see that everything is very snappy. The Game Center app, the iTunes app, you can just see that everything is very snappy. Now this processor is better than the iPhone 4S's processor, but not by much. But it also does have the ability of rendering quad-core games on the new iPad, and it handles it very well, and that's with the processor on the new iPad. Now, another great feature on the new iPad is the battery life. Now, the battery life is simply exceptional. It has a lot of battery life, and it has a great battery built into the new iPad. Overall, it does get you about 10 hours each day, and sometimes more if you use your iPad less or it's on standby mode. And you also have the functionality of having LTE, and it will just reduce the battery by 1 hour. So overall, that's a great battery lifespan on the new iPad. The new iPad also does have LTE capabilities. Now you can connect it to LTE networks where they are available in your area. And overall, the LTE coverage has been great. And now this depends on the area that you live. So if you live in a different place from someone else, you won't get the same speeds. It just depends on the network and the carrier. So if you look at the back of the new iPad, you'll see that I have the LTE band right here, and that's how it looks. Now, the overall hardware of the new iPad looks very similar to the iPad 2. Now, it's basically the same, although it is slightly heavier since it adds new components into it. Now, you can look at the USB. You have the very generous speaker at the very bottom, which is also found in the iPad 2. And the smart cover also does work on the new iPad since there has been no major design change. It just is slightly thicker. Now, the overall feel of it is slightly heavier than the iPad 2, although it's not that much heavier, and it's very solid in the hand. Now also, the iPad does come in storage capacities of 16, 32, and 64, which is the same as the outgoing iPad models. So overall, the new iPad is definitely a must-buy for all users. Now, I highly recommend getting the new iPad if you had the first generation of the iPad. Now, if you had the iPad 2, I would say it's a tough decision. If you want to have a better camera, better processor, new features of LTE, and also better battery, and also the Retina display, if you want all those new features, I would recommend upgrading. But if you do like your iPad 2, and those aren't major features, then I would recommend staying to your iPad 2. The iPad Wi-Fi model is for 16 gigabytes, $500, 32 gigabytes, $600, and for the 64 gigabyte Wi-Fi, $700. Now, if you want to have the Wi-Fi plus LTE connectivity, you will have to pay $630 for the 16 gigabyte, $730 for the 32 gigabyte, and $830 for the 64 gigabyte Wi-Fi plus LTE model. So thank you for watching this video. Please be sure to subscribe to like this video. Please follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/applecritics and at replyme for any tech related questions, and I'll be sure to answer them. And also feel free to iMESSAGE me at applecriticsYT@me.com, and I'll be sure to answer your iMessage. And feel free to like my Facebook fan page and drop a comment down below. Thanks for watching.